This is Scott Conway, PhD, GAD, with a bonus lesson for YORI 220. So the 220 set is about his job, her job, their job. And this is kind of an adjunct to it. It doesn't strictly go off of the needs, so I'm actually not going to talk about those a lot in this particular section, but these concepts and principles do connect to them. An important insight. It's not right, wrong that ends a relationship. It's damage, no damage. Now, where this ties into the needs is it can be damaging to someone and their relationship with you if who you are and the things you do don't meet their needs. And it can do damage to the relationship even though nobody's doing anything wrong. Very often when a relationship ends, whether it's a dating relationship or a more serious relationship, whether it's a couple that had been living together or had been married, one of the things that I assume my colleagues all over the world hear is some version of the idea that, but I didn't do anything wrong. What did I do wrong? Well, I didn't do anything wrong isn't the same as I didn't do anything damaging. Sometimes what someone did makes perfect sense. Sometimes what someone did is part of just who they are. It's their temperament. It's their character. It's their training. It's their skill set. It's how they grew up. It's just normal to them. Sometimes it's even good to them. But it's damaging to this relationship. It's a common misunderstanding at the end of a relationship. We make the mistake of assuming that someone has to be bad, that there has to be a bad guy. And typically, a lot of people treat it like it's the guy was bad or the girl was crazy or something like that. That's a common refrain. We get some version of that very often in our offices. But no one had to be bad. Of course, if someone is bad, well, the relationship will probably end. If somebody does take out their anger, their issues, their craziness on their partner, if someone is violent, if someone is verbal, if someone is neglectful, if someone actually does a bad thing, well, that will do damage. But just because there's damage does not mean somebody was bad. Sometimes it's as simple an issue as a mismatch. That someone needs something from someone that the other person just doesn't or can't provide. An example that I used during the 220 series is there was a woman who had been sexually assaulted when she was younger, and she has a lot of challenges in the sexual realm. You know, kind of at the hug-kiss level, she's fine. But as soon as things get decidedly sexual, she's just really not there. And it's really tough for her. Every once in a while, she's good. Most of the time, that's really tough for her. And in her case, she's married to a man who has a low enough sex drive that that's not an issue for him. Now, what if she was in a relationship with a man who had a fairly typical sex drive? That would be a problem. That would be doing damage. Even though there's nothing wrong with what she's doing. Likewise, if you have a man who struggles with making money, there's nothing wrong with losing a job. There's nothing wrong with not being able to find a new one. There's nothing wrong with the new job you find only pays 60% of what your old job paid, but it's the best you can do. We had a lot of that going on when one of our major regional employers shut down their manufacturing in our area. Suddenly we had over 30,000 unemployed people that were accustomed to making this level of money all on the market at the same time, in an area that no longer needed that particular expertise. And a lot of them weren't able to find similar work. Now, is there anything wrong with you lost your job? Is there anything wrong with it's taking you time to find a new one? Is there anything wrong with I've accepted a job that only pays 60% because it's the best job available to me? Nothing wrong. But can the inability to pay the household bills do damage? Yes, it can. And so we need to make these distinctions, and those are just a couple of practical examples. You can be okay with what you do as far as right and wrong. But just because you're not wrong doesn't mean that what's going on is not damaging. So we keep learning. We keep getting better at fitting in with others. We get better at understanding what's really going on. We get better at seeing and understanding our choices. And the better we get, the more informed, wiser, and loving decisions we can make. Now, sometimes the people who, quote unquote, don't do anything wrong get a bit self-righteous about what's going on in the relationship. And I've even had people say with their answer, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. What I'm doing is perfectly, he just needs to understand. She just needs to understand. And they're trying to take the moral high ground in the relationship, oblivious to the damage that they're doing. So you just keep in mind, being right and doing damage is still doing damage. Being wrong and not doing damage is not doing damage. And curiously, that's why sometimes we get people saying, well, you're with that, this other couple, he's done this and she's done, and they're still together. Well, it's because the particular things that to you might be wrong that they've done are part of what keeps their relationship together. Or it's not issues for them. Might be an issue for you, it's not an issue for them. So you just get that idea. It's damage, no damage. And you can be right and be doing damage. You can be doing something that is morally neutral. There's nothing wrong with it. It might not necessarily be a right thing to do, but there's nothing wrong with it, and it still does damage, because some people are just mismatches. Mismatches. No one has to be the bad guy. So often we want to make someone the bad guy. No one has to be the bad guy. We can just be different. And the his job, her job, their job, his needs, her needs, their needs, the 6 universal needs, helps us see that. And you get the lesson on love languages and temperaments. That helps you see that too. Some partnerships work better than others. And just because you're not structured for this to be a good or easy match doesn't mean that there's no one else for you. It just means that this one wasn't it. Now, another important insight. A partner with options is a partner choosing to stay. I gotta say that one again, because to me, this one's pretty cool. A partner with options is a partner choosing to stay. The more options someone has, the more meaningful it is when they choose you. The more someone has good places to go. If for them, being alone is a good place for them. Going with their family is a good place for them. Being with friends is a good place for them. Relationship options is a good place for them. The more they are choosing to be with you. Do you want your partner trapped? Now the right answer is no, of course not. So if I ask you, okay, show of hands, who wants your partner trapped? No one's going to say, yes, I want my partner trapped. I want to be the worst possible husband I can be. I want to be the worst possible wife I can be, the worst boyfriend, the worst girlfriend, and that they can't leave. No one's going to say that out loud, even if you really seriously, honestly believe it. But the reality is that many people really do want their partner trapped. They really do. They rely on their partner being trapped. They count on their partner being morally or religiously unable to divorce. They count on it. Being financially unable to leave. Not having any other romantic prospects. Not having any other women in his life or men in her life that would be interested in them. And they count on it. And that's how they get away with being who they are in the relationship and treating them the way they treat them. Many people actually do want their partner trapped by religion, trapped by economics, trapped by having no self-worth. If I can tear her down enough, if I can tear him down enough, if I can ruin their reputation in the community enough, they can't leave me. Then I can feel secure. Many people even want to keep their partner isolated from options, including isolated from family. That they're so insecure, they don't even want their partner to talk with their family members, to their parents, to their siblings. A partner with options is a partner choosing to stay. A partner that's trapped is a partner not choosing to stay. So imagine I've got a relationship, and I sit down with you and I'm talking about my new relationship. So, oh, you know, this is a great relationship. She has no options. She has no money. If she wants a roof over her head and food to eat and clothes on her back, she has to stay with me, because if she breaks up with me, she doesn't have any of that. And nobody else wants her. No guy has dated her in years. I'm the only prospect she has. So if she breaks up with me, she has no place to live. All she has is the clothes she already has. She has no food to eat, and she's got nobody but me. This is awesome. You should look at me like I'm whacked and probably try to get this woman some help so you can get her away from me. And yet, at a much more subtle level, it's stunning how often I see this. And that you see it very often in people's behavior, that I know you're trapped. We're part of a religion that will not give you the right to divorce me. So I can treat you however the heck I want. Or, I know you don't have a job. I control all the money. You can't afford to leave me. Or I've managed to batter you down so much in your self-image that you don't have the self-confidence to leave me. You might have tons of options, but you just can't see them. Now, choices are selections from a perceived menu of options. Choices are selections from a perceived menu of options. And perceived is subjective. So we're talking about someone who's had their self-confidence and their self-image so battered that they don't see any options, is going to make the choice to stay, because to them, this is the only choice I have. Now, some people don't see options that others might see, and that's something we always have to keep in mind. If you're on the outside looking in, you might see something different in someone's life than they can see from inside their own life. And then some people see options that aren't really there. So watching a movie, and without getting too far into what the movie is, because I'm not going to send you rushing out to go rent it if you haven't already seen it. But part of the idea, fairly typically, is a bunch of guys are sitting around and they're checking out the hot women. And to talk about who, check her out, man, what I could do with her. And the wives are over there, and they're chatting, and they can see their husbands doing this. And they think we don't know. We know. And one of the women says, and the bizarre thing is, they actually think they would have a shot with those women. That the wife's perspective was that their husbands were seeing options that weren't really there. And they're using the fact, well, I'm a married man, I wouldn't. But, if I did, I could get her. And so that options that aren't really there, pretending you have options when you can't do anything about it, so you can make up whatever story you want. Some see options aren't really there. Now, everyone has options. Sometimes your options are as simple and binary as yes or no. Do I stay or do I not stay? At the very least, everyone has that level of option. Now, every option has costs and benefits. Now, sometimes the benefits outweigh the costs. Sometimes the costs outweigh the benefits. For instance, me as a single guy, if I get involved in a serious relationship, do I lose some of my freedom? Yes, I do. Is that a cost? Yes, that is. Now, what if I'm not doing anything with the freedom that I have anyway? Well, it's technically a cost. I lose the option of doing certain things, but I'm not doing them anyway. And so it is a cost, but I might consider that a very nominal cost. Or if now you're living together. Now I only get half of the bed. Or depending upon the sleeping arrangements of the other person, now I only get a third of the bed. Or now I only get the 6-inch strip on the edge of the bed. However the other person sleeps. If a woman's with me, okay, now I have someone who snores in bed with me. So now we have this bathroom zone we have to share, and I don't have as much space, and I can't just do things the way I used to do things, because now I have to show respect for another human being's life, because we have two lives working our way through this. Is that a cost? Yes, that's a cost. No, are there benefits? Of course there are benefits. That's why we do these things. That we look at the pleasure of having someone sleeping next to us, of having that partner, of having that shared life. Even sometimes the practical benefits of that it's cheaper to maintain one apartment with two people living in it than it is to sustain two different apartments with each one having one person in it. And so there's some practical benefits as well as the emotional personal benefits. So choices are selections from a perceived menu of options. And the more someone has choices, the more they're choosing you. See, I like a woman with choices. I like a woman with options. I like being involved with women who have a lot of male admirers, who have a lot of exes that kind of still drift in and out of their lives, at least at the level of social media. I like that because the fact that there's other men who are or would be interested in her tells me she's with me because she chooses me. Not because I was the only option she ever had. And certainly at my age, I'm very likely to be having women who have ex-husbands, ex-boyfriends, strings of relationships, possibly lovers over the years. That's okay with me. Because then this is someone, they've seen what's out there. They know what the game is. They've been in it. They played it, they've been played, and they choose me. And that gives me great comfort. I like that. And then I don't have to be jealous, because the options that she has that in some insecure men will prompt a jealousy, to me prompts security. She already knows all these guys are out there. And she's already dated some of them. She's been in relationship with some of them. And she chooses me. From a perceived menu of options, and perhaps dozens, and she chooses me. Because she wants me. Not because she can't get anyone else. Not because she's trapped, but because being with me is better than being alone. Being with me is better than being with any given one of the other men that she has the opportunity to be with. And in that wide field, she's made her decision, and her choice is me. I love that. Now, some people, I'm sure, are looking at me like, okay, okay, Scott, that's just nuts. That's nuts. You should be insecure, jealous, territorial. Keep the other men away from her. Don't let them look. If they look at it, you need to back those guys off. You can't have other men giving your wife compliments. What's that all about? Don't you know that she could leave you for one of them? Oh, one of them is better for her than I am. If I'm mistreating her, if I'm being a bad partner, I want her to have a better place to go. I mean, if I love her, I want her to have a better place to go. My job as her man is for me to be the better place. So she doesn't need to go. Here's my personal preference in relationships. Be a low-cost breakup. Be a low-cost breakup. Now, this is one of the things, my history plays out that this is something I actually do. Now, this is something I will share with you. I'm not necessarily recommending it. It's the way I do things. I would like to see it done more. Over the years, I've found this to be more rare than I wish it was. So let me just share. I try to be an easy person to break up with. The reason that I'm so easy to break up with is I take away as little as possible in the breakup. Now, for the woman, if she wants to surrender this stuff, that's up to her. I'm not taking it away. I'm not punishing her for breaking up with me. And using the marriage vows as a context, if we break up, if we divorce, my history shows I will continue to love you. So in deciding whether to stay with me or not stay with me, you don't have to wonder, well, but if I break up with him, he won't love me anymore. Of course I'll love you. I will always love you. And then honor and cherish. Well, if I break up with him, he won't honor me anymore. Of course I'm going to honor you. I love you and I honored you enough to be with you. I'm not going to unlove you and dishonor you now that we've broken up. To me, that's just nuts. That's kind of like flipping the whole thing and say, whoa, hang on a second. I don't believe that's appropriate. I will still cherish you. Now, the having part, as far as the sexual manifestation of having, that stops. Generally speaking, the sex with an ex is not a good idea, unless you're maybe trying to get back together, but in general, not recommended. So the having stops. Now, the holding, which is the more sensual, the hugging and the hugs and the kisses and stuff like that, also gets very limited, or maybe stops, depending upon the nature of what your new relationship's going to be. In my particular case, I still try to enrich a former partner's life. I still seek her health. I still seek her better. I build a new relationship with her based upon who we are. But with our new statuses, our new roles, that utilizes still the my way, your way, our way system. And I do this for life. When I say till death do we part, I mean this is the deal until we die. Now whether you want to keep up your end of the deal is up to you. I choose to keep up whatever part of the deal to me is still applicable. Now if we were husband and wife, the whole deal is applicable. If we're ex-husband, ex-wife, well, not the whole deal is still applicable to those new roles, but the part of the deal that is, I still keep for life. So imagine for a moment that you're married to someone who does this, someone like me. And you know if I break up with this guy, if I end this dating relationship, if I end this living together relationship, if I end this marriage, whatever it is, I have a man who will love me anyway, will honor me anyway, will cherish me anyway. There'll be no more sex, but whatever level of friendly hugs, kisses is normal and natural for me that I still want, it's still going to be there. He will still seek to enrich my life. He will still try to make my life better. He will still try to help support my health. This is a man who will still partner with me in wherever we have contact, whatever we still intersect on. He's not just going to demand his way. It's still going to be an our way relative to our new roles. And he will do this for life. What does it cost you to break up with me? Very little. So if I have a woman with options, she's got half a dozen other men who would love to be in a relationship with her. She's got family. She's got friends. She's got places to go. She's comfortable as a single woman. That she doesn't need me for the food in her mouth and the roof over her head. And that if she breaks up with me, she's not going to lose all that much for me. And this woman stays. This woman is my romantic partner, my lover, my wife. That tells me she's here because she chooses me. Not because she doesn't have any other options. Not because she's going to pay a price if she leaves. Not because she's going to get socially stigmatized if she leaves. Not because I'm going to take stuff away from her if she leaves. She's with me because she chooses me. And to me, that is a great comfort. Then nothing has to be a threat. And it helps me zero in on be the partner I can be. So I don't push her away. Which then goes to this next important insight. It's okay to have issues. It is okay to have issues. Life happens. Life happens. And not all of life is good. Most of life is pretty good. I mean, if we choose to be the count my blessings kind of people, most of life is pretty darn good. But you know, some of life isn't good. Sometimes we acquire issues from the bits of life that aren't so good. Most people just live with them. In fact, the Chinese have a saying, and I don't remember which dialect it's in. I don't think it's Mandarin, but it might be, could be Cantonese, it could be something else. China actually has a lot of languages. There's no language just you call Chinese. When people say Chinese, they're usually either talking about Mandarin or Cantonese. But in one of the dialects, there's this word called Ren. You would transliterate it as R-E-N, Ren. And what Ren means is knife in heart. And the philosophy connected with Ren, knife in heart, is everybody's got a knife in their heart. You just live with it. Don't take it out on other people. Everybody's got one. If you take it out on other people have permission to take it out on you. If you have a relationship with half a dozen, we'll just say half a dozen people, and you take it out on them, well, you're going to have a 5-on-1 gang up because you just gave them permission to take their knife and heart out on you. You just don't. Everyone's got it. And I was sharing this with a friend, talking about, my life is pretty good. I've actually had a really awesome life. I've had an incredibly boring medical history. I've never broken a bone. I've never been in a cast. I've never been hospitalized. If I'm at the hospital, I'm there for tests and stuff. More commonly, I'm there to visit somebody else who ended up in the hospital. I've never been in an injury accident. I've been in a car crash bad enough that my car got totaled. I was the only one in the car, completely uninjured. Didn't even need to go see a doctor. Nothing hurt. Nothing was sore. I was fine. I've been doing martial arts since I was 6. Never broken. Got bloody noses a lot. Got bangs and bruises and the occasional, crank and thump and torque and punch. And, I've had times where I couldn't chew, good hard food, like chew a good steak for up to 3 weeks. But, nothing that sent me to the hospital. Nothing that sent me having to run to the doctor other than just to get checked out. Just to make sure that I didn't need any care. I've only been sexually assaulted seriously once in all of my years of life, and only the once, and I handled it. No one got hurt, and I handled it. I've never been beat up by bullies when I was a kid bad enough to require medical attention. I mean, I've been punched by bullies, choked by bullies, slammed into the ground by bullies, called all sorts of mean, nasty, awful names by bullies, but nothing bad enough that required a hospital. So I thought that's pretty good. So, gotten through life pretty peacefully. What I consider, at least for my life, a fairly ordinary level of bullying. And, by the time I'd had enough martial arts background and I'm at the high school level and I'm facing the bullying and I've got this gang member that's after me and it stood up to him and they got their respect and they didn't back off like they're afraid, but they said, okay, you're a man who'll stand up for himself. That's cool. We'll leave you alone. I've been, threatened by gang members and gangs. Obviously, no one ever did anything really bad to me because I never needed to be hospitalized. Fairly ordinary stuff. I've had death threats. Couldn't get through a month without at least one death threat for years. This went on. was bizarre. I've had rumors spread about me. I've had lies spread about me, which is bizarre to me. I have enough controversial positions on things that if you want to attack my character, you could use something I actually say or teach. So much of my stuff is online and in books. If you really want to come after me honestly, there's a lot of ammunition. I don't know why people don't use that. But stories get made up. It's bizarre. And at one point, 3 separate camps were making up their own stories, and then somehow it intersected across close enough to my business that it like slashed my business in half. So I've had that. I've had people decide that they're gonna spread rumors that were. It's kind of like the docudrama of, you know, based on a true story. You get something that's very loosely based on a true story. Very, very loosely based on the true story. There's like 3 actual facts in there, the rest of it is made up. Where, for some reason, this group of 3 women decided to make up all these stories, and then they actually invested the money to put these letters together, print them all up, and mail them to 400 churches all over San Diego County, saying all this bad stuff about me. That's a lot of work. That's spending a lot of money. 400 stamps, envelopes, and multi-page letters. And in all of that, one pastor contacted me and said, you know, I got this letter. And I'm reading the letter, and I'm thinking, okay, first off, there's no way this letter's true, because if this letter was true, this guy would be in jail. The fact that you're not in jail tells me it's not true. And secondly, I've had this done to me in the past too, and nobody told me. So I thought, well, I should be one of the people to tell him. I don't know you. I don't know them. I've got one. Everyone's got one. Well, it turned out I had another friend who also was a pastor. And he said, oh, yeah, I got one of those too. I just threw it in the trash. Scott Conway, are you kidding me? Seriously? And he threw it in the trash. He says, yeah, in retrospect, I probably should have called you to let you know I got one. I found out years later that the church that I was attending at the time got one. The leaders gossiped about it, and nobody came to talk to me. And a couple of years later, when the story was being told, and one of the leaders actually was in my class learning what I was teaching, and she raised her hand and said, okay, I have a confession to make. We did get one of those. And yeah, we didn't talk to you. We should have, but we didn't. And to make it even worse, all the leaders saw the letter. We talked about it. Frankly, we gossiped about it. And that was wrong. And they apologized. I mean, these are some of the things that have happened in my life. Now, could I have issues because of this stuff? I could. It's really not all that bad. I mean, 1 serious sexual assault in 50 years, that's not too bad. Not needing to be hospitalized for anything and require medical attention for any of how bad the bullies beat me up. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I've been punched and choked and slammed into the ground. Nothing that serious. Nothing that required medical attention. I've gotten hurt worse, you know, in training accidents. A whole bunch of stuff. I just don't worry about it. Now, here's the thing. Would it be okay if I had issues about this? Sure. Some people get just the one sexual assault and it changes them forever. You know, it shifted my behavior for a couple of years. Now, you might not have known it was driven by a sexual assault, and the behavior really wasn't all that unusual, but the people who knew me best could see there's been a shift. Something shifted. Not sure what it was or what drove it, but I can tell there's something that it took a couple of years to really settle into that. But I didn't take it out on people, which is part of the point. It's okay to have issues. Do not make your partner pay the whole price for your issues. Yes, a partner may partner with us to help us adapt, to help us cope with an issue. A partner may agree to accept the price of the issue as part of the partnership. But as much as is reasonable, try not to make the partner bear the whole price for the issue. We do our part to adapt. We do our part to cope without dumping it all on the partner. Now, this can be challenging. Now, in a lot of issues, there's really not a lot we can do about it. Now, physical disabilities being a fairly obvious example, but a lot of mental health issues could be another example. But the trick is to let your partner partner. Don't make your partner just pay a price. Now, I could, if I decided that, well, I don't want to have a great life. I mean, my life has been pretty awesome. I've had adventures all over the place. I love my life. Now, if I decided, well, I don't want to live my life anymore. In fact, I want my life to suck. I've got tons of stories to back it up. That instead of, one serious sexual assault in my entire life. Then I could just, oh my gosh, I've been sexually assaulted, and they completely change your life. You don't know what that does to a man's identity. And I could do that if I wanted to, if I let myself, if I gave myself permission. And then could I use that to take that out on my sexual lovers? So, you don't know what it's like. This is what I've been through, and you need to, and make her pay the price for what some guy did to me when I was a minor. I could do that if I wanted to. I think that's bad. Back to the thing of damage, no damage. Right, wrong. To me, that's wrong. Now, could I go back and say, well, you know what? I got bullied when I got punched and I got choked and I got slammed into the ground. I got chased all over school when I was in elementary school by 6 kids and they wouldn't leave me. And I could do that if I wanted to, too. I could make that a big issue. And then I could make a wife pay a price for that. That now she suffers. But she has to put up with it. Because you don't understand what it's like. What I went through. I'm in martial arts and I'm still getting chased by 3. Yeah. I could play that game. I don't. I'm not going to make a partner pay any more price than the partner has to pay. Because there's some prices that are just unavoidable. I'm making the money I'm making. If the lifestyle she wants costs a lot more money than I'm making, well, she's paying a price, not a lot I can do about it. I can work to try to make more money, but ultimately, you can only make the money you can make. And that's stuff like that. But have it be stuff she volunteers for. Have it be stuff he volunteers for. And to do it as a partner. To do it as a partner. So a helpful strategy to try to figure out how much you're just dumping stuff on the partner is consider if your partner was gone. What was it like when your partner wasn't there? How did you handle it? What did you do? Because like in my particular case, if I'm talking about stuff that happened when I was a child, when I was a minor, when I was being chased around the school by 3 bullies, when I was being punched, when I was being choked, when I was being slammed into the ground, when I was being called all sorts of names, when I was being called all sorts of racial slurs, which is funny because my heritage is Japanese, but I was getting all, Asian was Asian to the kids. They're just looking to be mean, and so they just dress up whatever, what do I have to be mean, and they use the whole arsenal, even if it didn't quite apply. And I could do all of these things and dump them on a partner. But think about this. What did I do when I didn't have a partner? When there was no one to dump it on? How did I live with it? I lived with it. I didn't feel compelled to yell, to scream, to throw things, to cry, to tantrum. So why would I do that to a partner? I was okay enough with it on my own that I was fine. Why would I take a lover and make a lover a target when I could handle it on my own okay? They say, oh, you're my girlfriend now? Awesome, I've got a target. Boy, do I got a bunch of crap I'm waiting to dump on you. Thank you for committing to this relationship. Not going to do that. So consider if your partner was gone. And the easiest way to consider if your partner was gone is, what was it like when your partner wasn't here? And what if they left you, even just temporarily? What if they left you to, because they got deployed, because they got a job out of town? Or even a simpler thing is they're going to go help their family. That there's a grandparent somewhere that needs care, and they're going to go and they're just going to be gone for a couple of weeks or maybe even a couple of months. Or like my stepdad, he's been gone for almost a year on a contract, which is periodic visits back. And my mom will periodically go spend time with him, sometimes a week or 2 or 3 at a time. But more than half of his time, he's just gone. Well, what if my mom had issues? Well, how does she handle it when he's gone? Because if she dumps it on him when he's around, well, what does she do when he's not there to dump it on? Now, my mom doesn't do it either, which explains where I learned it from. My mom doesn't do that. I don't do that. And my dad died decades ago, so that's why you don't hear too many dad stories from me. What if they got fed up with it and they just left? They said, you're making me the target. You're making me pay the price. I'm not the one that did it. It's not my issue. I'm not the one that did this to you. Stop making me the target. Never mind, I'm done. And they leave. Okay, well, what if they left? Now what would you do? Well, now, great. Try that with them there. If you could handle it when they're gone, well, good. Now, when they're there, handle it just like they were gone. Except now they can help you instead of you hurting them with it. They can be your partner. So it's okay to have issues. Make certain to not make your partner a target because of your issues. Now, yes, some type of issues we might be inclined to lash out. It's very important that we do not make our partner the target. Now, this is part of where this is so important. This is the concept of lawful target. Where you target a partner, but you give yourself permission to target your partner. That's what we mean by lawful target. That you get this intensity and you give yourself permission to attack your partner because of your insecurity. Or you give yourself permission to attack your partner because of your anger. Or attack your partner because of your fear. Or your jealousy. Or your envy. Whatever it is. And that you give yourself permission. Well, it's okay, Like, he's my husband. Of course I yell and scream at him, and of course I'm nasty and bitchy to him. I mean, that's what wives do. It's like, no. He's your partner. Don't make him the target. Don't go after him. It's very important that we don't make our partner the target. Now, part of why it's so important to never give ourselves permission to do it is because we're all going to blow it. We're going to do it often enough by accident when we do not give ourselves permission that we better not give ourselves permission. We're going to do it all the time. And if I can't get through a whole month without laying into my partner and being nasty and judgmental or pushing or shoving or something, verbally, physically, then chances are I'm giving myself permission. Every once in a while, maybe every month, 6 months, a couple of years, I kind of lose my cool and I unleash on my partner, not physically, beating somebody up, but that, I forget that my partner is my partner, every 6 months, year, couple of years. Okay. You don't give yourself permission. And how apologetic are you afterwards? That's a big one too. Not as a manipulation. That's what abusers do. But in genuine contrition, because you really do not accept this as okay. And that you so don't accept it as okay that no matter how often it wells up inside you, you never give yourself permission to let it out at your partner. Now, here's the thing, is we might get intense. But always, always, always do your best to not direct your intensity at your partner. Express your intensity with your partner. Just don't make your partner the target. Now, some people wonder, well, how do you express intensity without attacking your partner? Well, let me think about this for a second. Let's come up with a hypothetical. Suppose I've been working this big project. I've been working these projects for a long time. And I've got stuff, they're finally coming together. It looks like it's finally going to work. But then someone over there blows it on one of the projects, and the whole project just crumbles. Okay, well, I still got two. I still have two going on. And then this one's just like, we're done. We've got it. Come work with us. We've got the paycheck for you. We've got the company car for you. We got the benefits package for you. You're going to Dubai for the event. Come do it. And so then the third one, I go, okay, I've got a job. Thank you very much. I appreciate the interview process and the job offer. I'll have to decline. And I turn around and say, and I just turn them down. So now they find someone else. Now someone else is in that job. And I turn around here and then it's like, oh, it ended up not working out. Go ahead and take that other job, but the job's not there. And I go from having 3 things all coming together, everything fell apart. And I'm pissed. And I'm hurt. And I feel betrayed. Now if I sit down with my wife or my lady or my friends, and I'm just so mad, I'm screaming about the situation, well, in that case, they can be on my side. They can come close because I'm not hitting them with anything. But if, instead, if, say, one of them comes up and says, like, Scott, you're really smart. I'm sure you'll figure out something. And I rip it, how dare you, Sam? And off I go. They go, whoa, okay, now suddenly I'm the target. Why am I the target? I'm here for you. Why am I the target? They would rightly say, okay, I'm not playing this game. If you think it's okay to attack your friends when bad stuff happens to you, you can handle the bad stuff by yourself. And I think my friends would be making the healthy choice if I made them the target. Now, if on the other hand, they say, Scott, you're smart, you'll figure it out. It's like, well, thank you. At least somebody thinks I'm smart. Yeah, but these people and that person crumbling in, the not having when they say ahead, and I only lost that one, and tons of intensity, even anger, even fury and rage, and throwing my hands up and punching bags and whatever else, it might be the way you express it. And 0 of it at my friends. 0 of it at my wife or my girlfriend. It might be still scary to see. But they don't have to have their guard up. They don't have to be ready to protect themselves. I don't trigger that reflex to hit back. Because I don't make them the target. And when you can learn to rage without attacking your partners, without going after your wife or girlfriend, without going after your husband or your boyfriend, without going after your kids, without going after your parents, without going after your friends, then they can rally around you. And they can give you comfort and support. They can be on your side because you're treating them like partners. But as soon as you start attacking them, you have made them the enemy. You have declared yourself their enemy. I am your foe. I will attack you. I will try to hurt you. You don't do that. Don't do that. Now in this mix, we have good days and bad days. Good days and bad days. Good weeks and bad weeks. Good months and bad months. Sometimes we just have stuff where we're just not on our game. And part of why this is so important is if I give myself permission to attack you, you're pretty much going to be my target on every single bad day. You're going to be my target on pretty much every bad week. You're going to be my target pretty much any time I'm upset because I want to target. It's not enough for me to express my anger. I have to hurt somebody with it. Now, if I don't give myself permission, I'll have good days and I'll have bad days. And then most of the bad days, I might gripe, I might complain, I might be stressed, might be wound pretty tight, but I won't take it out on you, but I might express it with you. Come with me to the martial arts school. I pull out some bags and he's wailing on the bags. I'm so mad at somebody else. And you have zero fear I'm going to turn around and hit you if you say something. Because you know. And we just try to do the equivalent with our words. That you don't have to be concerned that while I'm taking out my words on the issue, on the person that blew it, the person who made promises that he already knew he couldn't keep. He wanted to look good. But you know I'm not going to take those words and turn around and hit you with some of those words. And every once in a while, we're going to mess up. But if I don't give myself permission, it's not going to be that often. Now then there's good choices and bad choices. If I give myself permission, that's a bad choice. The good choice is, you are my partner. I will treat you like a partner. I will fulfill your needs as best I can. I won't be your enemy. I won't be your partner. I'm going to be your partner. And as part of the partner, and you see how all this goes together. And if you have options, you have places you could go. You got other men who are interested in you. You're a magnificently attractive woman. Not necessarily just, physically pretty. I mean, at my age in particular, you're probably not going to get a lot of 50-year-old women who look like, the 20-year-old bikini body co-eds. But that's not what attractive is. That's just what physical beauty is. That's what you see in a picture, but that's not what's attractive in a woman. And if she's attractive, and other men would want to be with her, she knows she has options. And she's got family that loves her. She's got friends who love her. And that if I tell her, okay, part of the deal with me, just so that you know, is when I get upset, I'm coming after you. If I have a stressful day at work, I'm coming after you. If I get this project falls apart, I'm coming after you. That's just part of the deal. Take the deal, shake on it, yes, no? Probably no, hopefully no. So good days and bad days versus good choices and bad choices. Now this is a larger principle than this kind of situation. People are going to blow it. People are going to fail to meet your needs because they're having a bad day, they're having a bad week, they're having a bad month. They're not going to perform up to standards, even their own standards that they might normally do. And that's different than good choices and bad choices. So whether we have issues or not, we all have good days and bad days. We have moments where we might be up and about, but half brain dead. I've had those moments. I'm out of bed, I'm moving, I'm getting work done, but I'm kind of working on autopilot and kind of really, really hoping that autopilot's doing a good enough job that I'm not going to spend the day after tomorrow fixing everything I did today. Might be from something as simple as they're ill, they're sick, but they're going anyway. That they're under the weather, that they really aren't 100%, but that they're not laid out, or this stuff is so important that I can't stop, I got to keep going. even though, by all rights, maybe they should be in bed. Or maybe from lack of sleep. I mean, there's some people that they run on a 1 or 2 hour deficit a night, 5, 6, sometimes all 7 nights a week. And they keep on going. Or some is just from having other things on their mind. Could be just the inadvertence. It could be good things. It could be bad things. It could be entertainment things. It could be things. So we always try to make allowance for bad days. We always try to make allowance for bad weeks, especially if you know something happened. Make allowances for that. Now, very different from that are choices. Now, choices are concrete choices that we make when we can decide one way and act upon one way or another, regardless of how some days, weeks, or months might go. It's when it happens in slow motion enough that you have plenty of time to think about it, plenty of time to apply principles. So we need to pay special attention to the choices we make, because sometimes we're not really paying attention to the choices we make. That in the moment of emotion, you might act out. Okay, we get that. No one's perfect. Everyone's going to blow it sometimes. What do you do about it when you calm down? Do you go back and tell them, I was out of line. Shouldn't have done that. If I had it to do over again, and I could be a little more clear-headed about it, I would not have said the things I said. I would not have done the things that I did. I would take it back if I could. And in particular, if the vicious things you said were particularly nasty, so, I said this, I don't really believe that. I was just reeling, and I really wanted to hurt you, and I don't have anything really honestly truthful to hurt you with, so I lied, basically. That there's no negative truth about you that's bad enough to really hurt you, and I was just so into the anger that I wanted to hurt you, and the only thing I had to hurt you with was a lie. Or sometimes it's some of the things you said, it was connected to a truth, but it was like way exaggerated. It's like, and this thing I said, I know what you did, it really wasn't bad. But I made it sound like it was something bad, and I turned it into this great big dramatic thing because it was the only weapon I had, and in my idiotic moment of fury, I wanted to hurt you with something, and that totally okay thing was the closest thing to a weapon that I had, and I turned it into something ugly when it really isn't. I was completely out of line. Now, by the way, when you do apologies like this, your brain and your heart is learning, like, oh my God, I so don't have permission to do this. The intensity and the volume and all of the stuff in the apology is just, it's a cost. But it's a recognition of what it was you did wrong, what it was you said wrong, how you misuse things, how you abuse things. And then next time you're in fury, and your brain goes, I want to hurt this person. What do I got? The other part, you realize you're going to owe like a pretty serious apology. You remember last time and the time before that? Do you really want to have to keep apologizing for this? And then something in you go, okay, yeah, you're right. I feel like an idiot when I do stuff like that. And it will help you learn to stop. And a big one, though, is if you don't stop, you just taught your partner a rule. So say if some woman tears into me for opening a door for her. Not because she actually has a rule that says she doesn't want doors open for her, but on her particularly bad, annoying day, she wants to attack over something, anything, and so that's just sexist. How could you be so sexist? And well, if she never retracts it, and she never really, if she just says, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or that was wrong of me to say, and please open doors for me, and there's like no real explanation or apology. What she just taught me is, don't ever open doors for this woman again. Because she thinks it's sexist. She thinks that I'm demeaning her in some way. And even if she doesn't really believe that, she was just trying to create a weapon. If she never retracts the statement adequately, I honestly believe that that must be her rule. That's how she sees this. And then she loses the doors being open. Well, the part of the argument was it's sexist because it's that old code of chivalry from the sexist. Well, then she's also losing being helped on and off with a coat. She's losing me walking on the traffic side of things. She's losing me carrying stuff for her. Because she inadvertently took all of the ladies and gentlemen etiquette. She dumped it in a basket and then she hit me over the head with it. And she may not realize she's declaring her rule. And I'm very likely, because I love her, I want to follow her rules. I want to meet her needs. And she's declared one of her needs, one of her rules is, don't use that ladies and gentlemen crap with me. So okay, no ladies and gentlemen crap. Just treat you just like I would if you were a man. Other than the fact we're having sex, because you're my wife. And when we declare rules and people start living out those rules, we may not always like it. So it's a good idea to make sure we retract those things. Now also in this mix is be aware of the choices that you're making. Pay special attention to the choices that we're making. Now, in a couple of cases, we've had spouses that made lists for their partner. Now the worst one is the husband said, yeah, I really want to do better, but I don't know what to do. So I mean, he's pleading ignorance. So will you please, like make a list of examples for me so that I know what you're talking about. And so she basically made a list of 36 ways to win with me. And with the admonition of, just pick any of whichever is easiest and most comfortable for you. 36 ways to win with me. Well, he treated that list like a do not do list. 36 things. Like he's actively avoiding them. Now he's doing other stuff. It's almost as though he consults the list. Says, okay, don't do those. Let me do something else instead. Oh, someone gave me a great idea. Oh, no, on the list, can't do it. With the options of 36 ways to win, he decided to not do any of the 36 ways to win. That's a choice. When you can literally sit down and look at a list and pick something from that list and you actively avoid the list, that's a choice. Now, in any given moment, if just none of that ever occurs to you, well, that might not be a decision you make. That's a reflex. But as the weeks and the months go on and he's avoiding the list, that's a decision. Now, and the flip side, there was a wife. Now, the husband had a list. He didn't realize his wife knew what was on the list. And in fact, his rationale was, these are my measures. This is part of how I'll know. But, if she knows, well, then, she's going to be responsible for it. I don't want her to be responsible for it. We got too many other things going on. Well, then, one day she says, yeah, I know what's on the list. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She says, how long have you known that? It's about a year. Well, he got a little upset because for that entire year, she had done nothing from the list. As normal and natural as some of those things had been in the past, to decide that, okay, these 3 things that had always been part of our relationship, nope, not doing it. This 4th thing that hadn't been a previous part of the relationship but I could do, I'm not doing. And this 5th thing that would just be a good thing overall that I express I just want to do even just for me, nope, not doing it. It's on the list now. Not doing it. And she couldn't understand why he was upset. Well, he just needs to know that I just had like some anxiety about some of those things. Say, all right, well, that's a good explanation for this weekend. That's not a good explanation for this year. Especially since the excuses somehow didn't apply 2 years ago. Even though the rationale supposedly supporting the excuses did. And some of the excuses that she was making was like bizarre. But it boiled down to, she knew the list, and she actively avoided all 5 things, even though 4 of the 5 things had previously been a part of their relationship. But she's blaming stuff from her youth as to why she can't do it now. It's like, well, wait a second. You've got years of relationship where it was there. But you took it away when you found out that he wanted it. You took it away when you found out that's some of the stuff he's looking for to know how happy you are in the relationship. That's a decision. And you kept it away. That's a decision. Now, even when you can't do something, because it's just not in you, it's different than who you are. Someone wants this peaceful thing, but you're a powerful temperament. Someone wants this precise thing, but you're a playful temperament. And it's just outside the realm of your talents and abilities. Or with the one wife who she really struggles in the sexual arena. Even expressing a desire to make certain choices can be powerful. So when that wife knows, I've got all this stuff coming up for me, and I had these guys, catch me on the street, and they were, wolf whistling and cat calling, and then they opened up the side door of the van and looked like they're trying to get me in, and I panicked, and all of this stuff is going on, and I haven't had sex with my husband now for 6 weeks. And that if she can even just go to her husband and say, honey, so I know since this close call thing that we haven't had sex. I mean, obviously, and I know you know that too, but just so you know, I really want to have sex with you. Because if I think you deserve this, and I want it to be with you, I want to have that desire and that passion for you. I want to feel that aching and that craving for you because that's how I love you. And I'm so rattled from this thing, and you don't deserve this. I want you to know, even though I'm not there yet, boy, do I want to be there. That can carry people a long way. That can carry people a long way. Knowing that even if you can't, you want to. If you can't be home, because you're deployed, you get home when you get home, that you want to come home. That even if you can't afford the vacation, you want to take her on the vacation. You want her to see Bora Bora with her own eyes. You want to hold her hand as you walk down the beach and you watch the sunset over the South Pacific. That you want to go wandering knee-deep in the warm waters. That you want to get one of those bungalows over the water. That you want to because she deserves that. And that you just ache to be able to. And then if she can trust that when the money is there, that is what's going to happen. And especially if your history shows that is what you do with money. That can carry someone a long way. So even when you can't, even when you're not there yet, and it might take you a while, work your way there. But meanwhile, express your desire to be there doing that. And mean it. Be on your way there. And at whatever level you can, may not be much yet, find other places to compensate. That if something gets taken away, make sure you're putting something else good in there. If something's getting deferred, because dreams deferred makes a heart sick. Make sure you're adding in stuff here. And express the desire. And in this whole mix, let your partner, let your partner, noun, partner, verb. Let your partner. If your partner would like to be part of the solution, for whatever it is, let your partner be a partner. Don't make them the opponent. means treating your partner like a partner, not treating him like an opponent. And express gratitude. Now, so closely related to this expressing gratitude thing is say thank you instead of I'm sorry. Now going back to a kid, I was giving her a ride to high school. She was a friend of my son's, and every time I pick her up, she'd say, I'm sorry. I said, well, when you say that you're sorry, you're telling me you feel you did something wrong and that you're an inconvenience and an imposition and that you feel bad. Now, if you say thank you, then I think you're grateful, and me showing up to pick you up makes you feel good. Now, I'm not going out of my way to make you feel bad, but I'm happy to go out of my way to make you feel good. So if you want me to feel better about picking you up, say thank you. And I think, oh, I'm doing a good thing for her. Because when you say sorry, you make me feel like I'm doing a bad thing to you. To which she said, sorry. But then she started saying thank you for the ride. When, you're late. I'm sorry I'm late again. So, thank you for your patience. I really appreciate you waiting. I mean, how different is that? Show gratitude. Because instead of indulging and feeling bad about yourself, feel good about the other person. They're the ones who paid the price. And so rather than just you take a punishment that you inflict on you, well, how does that help them? But if you express gratitude, then that helps them. It's like, thank you for waiting. I know it's rude of me to be late, but I really appreciate that you wait. Thank you. Express gratitude. And the more you express gratitude, the more you're partnering with that person. The more you're connecting with that person. And the more it's a recognition that they're paying a price for your tardiness. And if you love them, if they're your friend, that may help motivate you to stop making them wait. So the principle, of course, is we are partners, not opponents. You hear this from me all the time. A metaphor that I use is a relationship is a kingdom. As part of that metaphor, I am the king. As part of that metaphor, my partner is the queen. And we are co-rulers together. We both have equal power here. Metaphors are powerful, so choose them with care. Because when you use them and you're creating pictures in your head that have feelings connected to them, because metaphors are words. Words are containers that contain definitions. And if you know the whole principle of holographic immersion definitions, that tells you how even much more powerful they are. So watch out for the metaphors that you use. Use good ones that'll help you. Let them serve the relationship. And with this metaphor of the kingdom, and I'm the king, you're the queen, my basic rule is thou shalt not wage war against thy king. And my number one rule is I shall not wage war against my queen. You are not my enemy. I will not make you my enemy. I will not make you my opponent. I will not treat you like my opponent. Because while kings and queens will bring different things to the throne, when kings and queens fight, there is war in the kingdom. I don't want war in my kingdom. And if you just sort of assume in this king and queen metaphor that she commands half the military, I command half the military. Half the kingdom is loyal to her, half the kingdom is loyal to me. If I rise up against her, half that kingdom is rising up with me. And if she rises up against me, half that kingdom is rising up against me. And if I dare attack her, her whole half of the kingdom would rise up to protect their queen. Because they protect their queen. But what if the enemy is the king? Well, then they have to protect the queen from the king. Or it's the other way around. Now the king is rising up to protect the king from the queen. That's a civil war. We don't want war within the kingdom. No, we're supposed to be on the same side. So when we get attacked from outside, the king and the queen are together, commanding their forces, their loyal subjects, rising up to do battle with the financial problem, to do battle with the medical problem, to do battle with the stress, to do battle with the fear, to do battle with the fury. Where it's the kingdom against the world, not the king against the queen. So handle problems. Handle them. As partners. Handle them as partners. As partners solving problems. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have a different approach. It's okay to get intense. It's okay to get angry. It's okay to get scared. It's okay to get stressed. It's okay to have issues. Just don't take it out on your partner. They're your partner. Don't start a civil war. Stick it out together as a partnership. So that's the bonus lesson. You can see why that didn't quite fit into the normal stream of the 220, his job, her job, their job. But hopefully you also see how it relates. So this has been YORI 220. This has been the bonus lesson, in particular in this particular set. I'm Scott Conway, PhD, JD. Thank you for joining me for all 10 of these lessons, assuming you didn't jump to the bonus lesson first. Thank you for joining me for all 10 of these lessons, and I hope that this gives you more tools for your toolbox, ways to step up your relationship, ways to build a kingdom ruled by a king and a queen that rivals the fairy tale of happily ever after. And if you do it well enough, you can leave even the fairy tale in the dust.